Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Solskjaer makes public plea for Cristiano Ronaldo to rejoin Manchester United following his departure from Juventus. Man United have been offered the chance to re-sign Cristiano Ronaldo. George Mendes, who's Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, is talking to Manchester United. Earlier on today, Cristiano Ronaldo left the Juventus training ground. He was there for 40 minutes. And he told Juventus that he wanted to leave. It does mention that Man City are the favourites to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. Man City have been in advanced talks to sign Ronaldo. Juventus have said they want £25 million. His current contract at Juventus expires next year. We did have Ronaldo for 6 years. We had him from 2003 to 2009. When he was with us, he won 3 Premier League titles. He won the Champions League. He won the FA Cup, couple of League Cups, and he won the FIFA Club World Cup. We did get Ronaldo in 2003 from Sporting Lisbon. We paid £12 million for him. We sold him to Real Madrid for £80 million back in 2009. So we gained a £68 million profit. Ronaldo did enjoy like 10 years with Real Madrid. Juventus did get him in 2018. They paid £88 million. Ronaldo is regarded as one of the best players in the world. He's won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. He's scored over 780 goals for club and country. Ronaldo is the age of 36. It would be good to see him though coming back to the Premier League. But yeah, Solskjaer was talking about Cristiano Ronaldo in his press conference building up to the game against Wolves on Sunday. So now, yeah, I'm going to give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of the game against Wolves. I'm going to give you all the questions he was asked and I'll give you his responses to them. So, this was the first question. First and foremost, are you looking forward to the game? Ollie's response was, yes, of course. When you have the disappointment of losing 2 points last week, you want a game straight away. The start of the season has been a little bit different. Last year we had loads of games. This time a week in between. We're training well, fit and ready. We're still missing Scott, who had surgery this week. Marcus, Alex, Dean Henderson, they're not ready, but apart from that we have a fit squad ready to fight for points. So that was Ollie's response to that first question. Yes, Dean Henderson, he's obviously been recovering from COVID. Marcus Rashford's still got that shoulder injury. It said he's going to be out until October. Earlier on in the summer it said that Marcus Rashford decided to have surgery on his shoulder. Alex Telles has got an ankle injury that he sustained in training before the start of the season. Telles wouldn't have been in contention to play in this game, and McTominay has had a groin injury. So this was the second question. Can you give us some updates on the transfer window on Jesse Lingard? Ollie's response was, Jesse, I see him as a Man United player. I know there's loads of speculation about him, but he's had a very good pre-season. In England squad, it's just unfortunate that he got COVID before we started. He would have 100% started the first game. Well, that was Ollie's response to that question. Not so long ago, Solskjaer confirmed that Lingard remains part of his first team plans this season despite the ongoing speculation. It's West Ham and Everton that have been interested in Lingard. Now, a few weeks ago, West Ham's first team coach, Stuart Pearce, said that West Ham want to sign Lingard, and he did mention that he's a special lad. And it said West Ham received a huge boost in their pursuit of Lingard because we dropped our asking price for Lingard to 20 million. Initially, we was demanding 30 million. Fabrizio Romano mentioned that West Ham were going to submit another bid. But last season, Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Lingard's current contract at Man United expires next year. Lingard has been part of the club for a long time, risen up our academy. So there you go. So this was the next question. One player who isn't in the England squad is Mason Greenwood. What do you make of that? Ollie's response to that was, I think Mason is on the right track. I've had conversations with Gareth Southgate and he sees him as a potential England striker. We potentially see him as a very, very good talent. I think it's taking it step by step and the way Gareth wants to manage that on. I'm very comfortable with, I think Mason's on the right track, definitely. So that was all his response to that. You know what, I'm surprised that he hasn't been selected for the England squad, Mason Greenwood. You know, Greenwood's very, very good. He's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad, but at one point he did go a while without scoring. Greenwood's enjoyed a good start to this season. You know, Greenwood scored last weekend against Southampton. He was the one that got us the draw. And he scored in the opening day against Leeds. Should have had more than one goal against Leeds because he had a couple of other good chances. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. And last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Whether you play Greenwood on the right or centrally, you seem to get the best out of him. I don't think he's too good though on the left. I think we have played him on the left before. Anyway, this was the next question. It looks like arch rivals City are doing big business in Cristiano Ronaldo. How will that affect your title ambitions? So Ollie's response was, we focus on the ones we have here. I don't want to speculate too much with Cristiano and what's happening there in the press. I've said many a times with speculation, when you're at Man United, when you're Messi, Ronaldo, Pogba, Bruno, you have to read a lot about yourself. So let's see what happens with Cristiano because he's such a legend of this club. So that was his response to that. This was the next question. Are you happy with your squad now? Or does a manager always want more players? Ollie's response was, any manager, like Jose said last week, is always looking for a little bit more. But I have to say that the transfer business that we've done this summer, I'm happy. I'm happy with the numbers we have, with the quality we have, with the personalities we've brought in. The atmosphere and the spirit in the squad is really good. The staff with them. They fit each other really well. You're never comfortable, of course, you're not as a manager, but you go to work and see the chemistry is there. I'm very happy with what we've got here. So that was Ollie's response to that question. This was the next question. Just on Cristiano, Wayne Rooney said he couldn't see him going to City as a United legend. Would you be tempted? Ollie's response was, as I said, I don't want to speculate too much, but it's speculation. Cristiano has been a legend of this club. He is a legend of this club. He's the greatest player of all time, if you ask me. I was fortunate enough to play with him. I coached him. He almost retired me because it was that Wolverhampton game when I got injured because he kept switching sides. Such a tremendous human being as well. So let's see what happens with Cristiano. Everyone who's played with him has a soft spot for him. So that was all his response to that. So let's go to the next question. Just on a couple of players, Donny van de Beek didn't get into the Dutch squad today. Phil Jones came back in pre-season but seems to have disappeared again. Ollie's response was, it's a pretty long response. I'll start with Donny, of course. We started against Leeds with the team that we picked, and the 5-1 win was, of course, a justification of the team selection. Of course, it always is. Then we moved to the next one. Scott couldn't play, and Nemanja has been our best player in the pre-season. I have to say that's why I chose Nemanja. He's been terrific. So I went with them too. Donny has worked hard. He's done really well. I can't say anything else, but he will get his chances when the season gets going. Last season we had the Carabao Cup games, a game every 3 or 4 days at the start. Now we have a week or 8 days even in between. I can't really say it in any other way that we made the decision, of course. When you start as well as you do, you don't want to rotate too much. Scott couldn't start. That was the decisions that Nemanja started instead of Donny. It was very close, very close. He has been very positive in the games. So that was his response to that question. So Solskjaer seems to have faith in Nemanja Matic. Like I've said to you, I've got my strong reservations about Matic. As for Donny van de Beek, he needs to get game time at Manchester United. This is Donny van de Beek's second full season at the club. And last season, Van de Beek made 36 appearances for Man United in all competitions, but most of them appearances came from the bench. Van de Beek started just 4 games in the league last season. Like I've said to you before, I haven't really had much of a perception on Van de Beek as a United player, but in general he's a good player because I thought he was very good at Ajax. We got Van de Beek for 40 million with add-ons included, and he's got a contract with Man United till 2025, and he's versatile. He can play in like 3 different roles. Hold on a minute. This carries on from the question. Sorry about that. I thought that questioned over. Yeah. So it carries on here. So it says, Phil has had a horrible 18-19 months and probably a year before that as well with injuries. I think Rio was a bit, not out of order, but a bit unlucky. He should have called me and asked why Phil hasn't played or why Phil hasn't been there. Phil is no fuss, get on with it type of guy. I think that was out of order completely, I know, more than anyone how it feels to be injured at that stage. He's still not 30 years of age. Since I came here, he's battled with his knee injury. He's putting his body on the line every single training session, every single game. There's a few times we've had to manage him. He's never given anything but given everything for the club. Rio should know more than to go out and say this. I've wanted to say a lot, but I've not said a lot about Phil's injury because I've wanted to protect him. Phil's never on social media, never asked to do interviews. He just gets his head down, proper professional, no fuss, family man. He just wants to get back fit. We managed to get him half an hour against Burnley, which was the first half an hour against an opponent he's played here in training. He's working his way. I was out for 2 years in a 3-year period with a knee injury. Phil has battled valiantly, I'd say. I know how Phil has felt. You're embarrassed at times coming in, but he has to look after his career, and he's now getting back to fitness. Now is not the time to throw him in. I think you can give him a little bit more, maybe a month, 6 weeks, some behind closed doors. He'll be there. For me as a manager to see there can be light at the end of the tunnel. It's great because I've been through the same. I think Rio knows. I think he feels a little bit sorry about that one. I've not spoke to Rio, but I think he should. Sorry, that was a long one, but I feel Phil deserves that because he's played here for 10 years and always given everything thanks for everything. So yeah, that was the full response to the question. Very, very long response from Ollie. And yeah, Phil Jones was out with an knee injury for a while. He sustained the injury in that game against Tranmere in the FA Cup. And Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. Jones is staying at Manchester United for this season. This was the next question. Do you see some of the elements of the great defenders you played in your time at the club in Raphael Varane? Ollie's response was, he's working really hard. When I asked him if he was ready to play, we had a behind closed doors game against Burnley and he felt, no, I need to suffer on the training field first. He needs to work because he had holidays. He came in, said his goodbyes at Real Madrid. Then he didn't train with them. Then he was waiting for his visa. Then he came here, had his isolation. We found him a little garden, a house with a garden. He wasn't ready to play, but now he's had a good couple weeks of training. He's looking ever as impressive as a person, as a player. He's got class. He will fit in at Man United, definitely. I think we've signed a top person and a player at the right time. A new challenge for him after being a World Cup winner, Champions League winner with Real Madrid so many times. He probably needed a challenge and hopefully we can challenge him to take the next step. Like I've said to you, I'm expecting Varane to make his debut in the game against Wolves on Sunday. Varane didn't play any part against Southampton last weekend, surprisingly. I thought he would have been involved. But Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds on the opening day. We got Varane in a deal worth £43 million. With add-ons included, we paid like £34 million up front. Varane signed a 4-year contract with Man United with an option of a 5th year. And he's wearing the number 19 shirt. This was the next question. Last season it happened a lot when you drew games against Southampton. You scored and had the impetus. Do you need to put your foot down on the pedal? Ollie's response was, I think you're right. They were not too dissimilar, those two games, in the way they went. Of course we took the lead against Leeds. They scored, we scored, then we got the momentum and we scored a couple quickly and we were clinical. That was the difference against Southampton. We weren't clinical. We didn't take our chances. We had as many or even more chances if you're not ruthless in the box. You won't win points in the Premier League. I looked at it and we had a good 10-15 minutes after we scored and we should have scored more. In the last 15 minutes, we lost our way. Stick to your structure. Believe in ourselves. Believe in what we're doing. Believe in your teammates and keep sticking to what you're good. This is towards the end of the press conference. This is another question. Cristiano Ronaldo's quite ruthless, isn't he? The response was, I know you were going to ask. I could have been in that box and scored a few as well, just tap-ins. I have to say, as I said earlier, he's probably the greatest player of all time, arguably him and Messi, but then it is what it is. That was his response to that. And this was the final question of the press conference. Allegri has said that Cristiano wants to move. He's one of the greatest players on the market, so why would Manchester United not try for a move like that? The response was, well, I didn't think Cristiano was going to turn out leaving Juventus. It's been speculation the last few days, of course. We've always had good communication. I know Bruno has been talking to him as well. He knows what we feel about him. If he was ever going to move from Juventus, he knows that we're here. So that was everything that was mentioned in the press conference. This game against Wolves on Sunday will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 100th Premier League game as Manchester United manager. I'm expecting Manchester United to beat Wolves because we've got a very good away record in the Premier League. Reflecting on that draw against Southampton last weekend, we equalled Arsenal's record. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League since January 2020. So far, we have registered 4 points from our first 2 league games. Beat Leeds and drew with Southampton. Wolves, like I mentioned on the preview, I think they're going to really struggle this season. Wolves have endured a bad start to the season. They lost their first 2 league games. They lost last weekend to Tottenham and they lost their opening game against Leicester. But Wolves recently had a good win against Nottingham Forest in the EFL Cup. They're beating them 4-0. Wolves' manager is Bruno Lage. They appointed Bruno Lage in earlier on in the summer. Before Wolves, Bruno Lage was at Benfica. Before Bruno Lage, Wolves had Nuno Santo, and to be honest with you, Wolves were very, very consistent when they had Nuno Santo. Nuno Santo got Wolves 2 7th placed finishes in the Premier League. Also got them to the FA Cup semi-final for the first time in 21 years a couple of years ago. And Nuno Santo got Wolves up to the Premier League from the Championship. Nuno Santo left Wolves at the end of last season. Nuno Santo is now manager of Tottenham. We beat Wolves at Molineux last season 2-1. It was the final game of last season. Our goals came from Juan Mata and Alanga. And we're beating them at Old Trafford last season 1-0. It was a late goal from Marcus Rashford. Wolves have beaten us though a few times at Molineux. Now, one of Wolves' key players is Adama Traore. He'll be in contention to play in this game. Another one of their key players is Raul Jimenez. He'll be in contention to play in this game. Neto, he's another one of Wolves' key players. I don't know if he's going to be available for this game because Neto is injured. Daniel Podence, he's one of Wolves' key players. He's just come back from injury. Ruben Neves, I think he'll be in contention to play in this game. As you all know, Manchester United have been linked with Ruben Neves. Not so long ago, Bruno Lage said he wants to keep Ruben Neves, but he said every player has a price. Now, earlier on in the summer, Ruben Neves hinted that he'd made a decision on his future. He called any talks of a transfer away. You know, he's very happy at Wolves, and he did reveal his excitement of working alongside Bruno Lage. Just before that, he did mention that Man United were leading Arsenal in the race to sign Ruben Neves. Now, it recently said Man United are eyeing a cut price deal for Ruben Neves. Wolves want £40 million to let him go. We are unwilling to pay £40 million. Wolves know how much of an imperative player Ruben Neves is. He's been superb for them. Ruben Neves has been at Wolves since 2017. Wolves got him from Porto for £15.8 million. He's got a contract with Wolves until 2024. Moutinho, I think he'll be involved in this game. I like Moutinho. Fernando Markel, I think he'll be in contention to play in this game. Wolves brought Fernando Markel in last year. Wolves have also got Dendoncker. I like Roman Size. He played very well in the Old Trafford game last season. I also like Connor Cody. Nelson Semedo has also done well at Wolves. Wolves got Nelson Semedo from Barcelona. Fabio Silva's also quite good. Wolves do have some injuries. Like I said to you, Neto's been out with injury. Bueno, he's another player that's injured. Mosquera, he's been out with injury. Johnny, he's out with injury. Willie Bowley, he's out with injury. Wolves have really struggled though since they lost Diego Jota to Liverpool last year. Don't forget they also lost Matt Doherty to Tottenham. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.